folks. So, I'm driving right now, so bear with me on this. Alright, so I wanted to sit there and talk about this whole thing with Marvel, DC, Justice League, and the whole shenanigans, because personally speaking, it's a bit ridiculous. So, one of the things that kind of bugs me about this whole thing, excuse us for a minute, one of the things that bugs me about the whole thing regarding Justice League, that is, I think a lot of it, mainly on the negativity, is a little over exaggerated, I should say. One of the things that I noticed since the start of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, from like Iron Man up to this point, and I've always sat there and said it, Marvel hasn't made a legit bad movie. They haven't. They haven't made a legit bad movie in the realm of what we sit there and objectively say is bad. Okay? Um, from Iron Man up to this point, and stuff, I'll say all Iron Man all the way up to Thor Ragnarok, up to this point, where we're at right now. They've been basically crooning goodwill to folks. Now, bear in mind too, Marvel Disney was always starting off at a handicap. What I mean by starting off at a handicap is they didn't have the X-Men, they didn't have Fantastic Four, and they didn't have Spider-Man. There was a meme that came out recently that had the scene from Iron Man 1 where Ezekiel Stan was like, Tony Stark made that in the cave with the pile of scraps. Let's be real about this. That's what the Avengers and Guardians of the Galaxy and them were for Marvel Disney at the time. Scraps. Nobody was fucking touching Captain America. Nobody gave a shit about Captain America up to this point. To the point of, oh man, I want a movie so bad. Let's be real about this. So I'm sitting there and I'm looking back at it and stuff in regards to DC. Now, like I said, going back to Marvel putting the goodwill, Phase 1 was the make or break of Marvel really showing us goodwill. And I gotta be real about this. I think Phase 1 was a very good success. It was very much a great success because here's the thing. You had Iron Man 1, which was fucking awesome. You had Incredible Hulk, which is a great movie to give us the Hulk that we kind of was wishing that the Ang Lee Hulk could have been. You had Iron Man 2, which it has its issues in the fact that it's trying to firmly do more world building for the MCU, so certain things got sacrificed in it. So you had things like Whiplash, I wish we got more of. Wish he didn't die, but whatever. So you had those things and stuff. Iron Man 2, again, Iron Man 2 is not a bad movie, but there's issues with it. Like I said, if I'm watching Iron Man 2 from beginning, middle, to end, it's fine. It's telling a very competent story. It's just very overstuffed with a lot of MCU stuff. So you take it for what it is. You got Thor, first Thor movie, very good. In fact, I felt that Marvel, particularly with the Thor movie, the first two Thor movies, I feel that they really played it safe in terms of giving us the Thor that we kind of wanted. Going to Captain America, another hit, really fucking good movie and stuff. And you lead up to Avengers, and let's be real about this. Avengers was the, big standout movie that could have make or break the MCU. Because let's be real about this, they basically made it to where, okay, hey, we're doing Avengers. This is going to be huge. If Avengers flopped at any point in time, there's a possibility they would have went back to the drawing board. And it was a big gamble. This is something that's unprecedented and never done before. They never done any world building in between movies. It was always, okay, we're doing this, boom, go to the next one. So what we ended up getting was Avengers, which made 200 and some odd million, I think $205 million opening weekend. Fucking huge. And I think at that point, that's when Marvel knew, hey, we garner goodwill with people. Because think about it. Look what happened after Avengers. We got Iron Man 3. Great fucking movie. We got freaking Winter Soldier. Great damn movie. We got Guardians of the Galaxy. Great movie. Thor Dark World. Mediocre as shit. mediocre movie, but like I said, it's a competent movie. It told a story. It's just mediocre as hell when it came down to it. Then you have Age of Ultron, which to me personally was a very polarizing movie. Not Man of Steel polarizing, but just polarizing in the fact that I felt a lot of people pull revisionist history on that film, because I remember when Age of Ultron came out, we all sung praises for the movie. And then when it marinated with people, I remember people getting fucking pissy about the Black Widow Banner relationship, which, if you were paying attention to the prior movies, there was precedence for that, particularly if you paid attention to the first Avengers movie. The Thor subplot, which I will wholeheartedly admit did not need to be in the fucking movie whatsoever. But like I said, that was the prelude to Ragnarok, whatever. But like I said, I enjoyed Age of Ultron because it gave us Civil War, and after Age of Ultron, we got Ant-Man. Awesome movie. I love fucking Ant-Man. Ant-Man is low-key my favorite movie in the MCU and stuff, next to Civil War and such, and Winter Soldier. I love that movie because I'm a fan, and Dee will tell you this, I'm a fan of obscure characters. I've always been a fan of that. So when they told me they're doing the Ant-Man movie, it's like, yes, awesome. So yeah, Ant-Man, you had Doctor Strange. You know, you had Guardians of the Galaxy 2, Thor Ragnarok, Civil War, Spider-Man Homecoming. So we're getting all these movies and stuff, right? And it's just, again, regardless of how you felt about decisions in some of these movies, whether how you felt about the whitewashing in Doctor Strange, or how you might have felt about Age of Ultron, or how you might have felt about Spider-Man Homecoming and stuff, on certain things you might disagree with, again, Marvel was firing all cylinders and giving you great movies. So I say all that to say, there's a reason why Marvel tends to get passes on certain things that, switching gears over to DC's getting a lot of shit for. Now, I will wholeheartedly admit, DC got their mulligan on Green Lantern. We're gonna put out an episode, I'm gonna probably put it out later today. It's our Justice League spoiler episode, putting that up. And I said as much that the DC got their mulligan off of Green Lantern. They had some ideas there for Green Lantern, and I really wish they just stuck to their guns and kept moving after that, but whatever. They got their mulligan on Green Lantern, and they gave us Man of Steel, which to me was the most polarizing film, but for the wrong reasons. Because look, you can say what you say about Superman in that movie, but like, that was a Superman movie. And I think, and it's amazing to me that people held on so much to the most dumbest thing in that movie, which is, oh man, him and Zod destroyed the stuff and blah, blah, blah. And it's like, it's so stupid and dumb. But whatever, it was so polarizing that WB reacted, and Man of Steel 2 ended up turning into Batman v Superman, which I always felt was a mistake because it felt too reactionary, because DC, to me, for the longest time, always leaned on Batman. Even to this day, they lean on Batman so heavily. And it's like, you don't give your characters enough time to be full-fledged characters to a point, because you're leaning so heavily on Batman so much to kind of take the weight, so to speak. So, to me, Batman v Superman, my issues with that movie when it came out was it was just doing a lot of bizarre-ass decisions that killed it. Like, oh, hey, Jimmy Olsen, he gets shot and killed for no fucking reason. All right. Lex Luthor, bit of different than normal. Me and D said as much, millennial Lex and stuff. Okay, fine. It's just when I look at the movie as a whole, whether it's the regular cut or the extended cut to me was just one of those things where it was just like, yo, you're just doing too much. You don't need to do it. You tell a simple story. And I mean, Doomsday, just a lot of things in Batman v Superman is the things that folks crucified Iron Man 2 and Thor about. And I think Batman v Superman just did it way worse than what Iron Man 2 and Thor Dark World did. Because ultimately, when you had Iron Man 2, it was world building, but you were still able to get your Iron Man story in it. With Batman v Superman, they were throwing everything in the kitchen sink. Wonder Woman's in it. Okay, fine, that's cool. And you had that happening. Then you had the whole scene where she's looking on DVD and it's Cyborg, his origin. Oh, Barry and the Flash. Oh man, Aquaman. He's undersea and just things like that. And it's like, okay. And then Doomsday's in it. And it's like, okay, you're doing too much, movie. You're doing too much. You couldn't just tell a simple story. But I felt Zach was just throwing in too much shit instead of just telling a very just tell a good story. I think ultimately people just want you to tell a story, and at the very least, if you're not going to tell a good story, have something that's at least going to make people forget about it. Like if you look at Age of Ultron, for instance, right? I'm a fan of the Ultron as a character, right? I felt Ultron wasn't up to snuff that he could have been, just like the comics. But I felt what you got in the movie, though, and stuff, it worked. Everything about that character and other things, that it worked to a point. There was consequences. It was there. Yeah, he wasn't the, bloodthirsty Ultron, but there was something there. So with Batman v Superman, there was just so much stuff that was in there. It was just, it pissed people off. Again, I said as much as a C movie to me. It didn't hurt it or anything, but it's just they told the story, it's done. So, cut the Suicide Squad. Now, to me, Suicide Squad is one of those things where you can't fuck it up. Now, when I saw everything leading up to it, Joker was going to be in all that stuff, I thought it was going to be based off of, at least from how you look at the synopsis of it, I thought it was going to be like Assault on Arkham. There was an animated movie called Batman Assault on Arkham, and what it did is it revolved around a Suicide Squad breaking into Arkham to retrieve the Riddler for Amanda Waller. So I thought that was what the movie was going to be about and stuff, and Joker's going to be in there and cause hijinks. That sounds like a dope movie, doesn't it? That wasn't it. And I figured I felt like an asshole because I defended that movie with the trailers and all that stuff. I was like, hey guys, it could be good. This isn't Snyder. It's somebody different. This could be good. Then you see the movie and you see just everything that was cut to shit, and it didn't even resemble a David Ayers movie. And again, I'm not closely to the point to where I'm going to complain about something like that, but I'm just sitting back like, you guys didn't need to do that. If you're supposed to trust your directors, trust your directors. Whatever. So, you got Suicide Squad happening. That went down. The movie clearly made a lot of money, which, backing up for a second, Batman v Superman made $925 million stuff, which is a lot of damn money ultimately. But in my head, when I look at Batman and Superman, they are way more iconic than the Avengers. Like, if you think back for a second, in the 90s, leading up to the MCU, even leading up to the MCU, the top heroes in terms of iconic heroes that people knew about, right? If you look on the Marvel side, it was always the X-Men. It was Spider-Man. Those are two were the ones that ran shit, period. Like, Avengers what? So, and you look at the DC side, Superman and Batman were always iconic characters in every era. Always iconic and stuff. They were always recognizable. So for me, when I see that Batman v Superman, a movie with Batman and Superman, didn't crack $1 billion, it's kind of worrisome, but it's like, okay, fine, maybe because it's not the Justice League. So, I cut to Wonder Woman, which, like I said, Wonder Woman, great movie. Great movie all around. I think that was the movie that really showed, okay, I see what you're doing, DC. Okay, this is the positivity and the levity that we wanted out of this. So then Justice League happened. Now, I'm not one to sit there and say that the movie is horrible. It's not. It's actually a great movie. You should go see it. Go watch it. You're not going to regret it. You're really not going to regret it. You will enjoy the movie. I think it's amazing to me, and I want to see how this movie plays in terms of box office and stuff, and I don't want to put a lot of hefty on it and stuff, but I want to see how it plays out. Like I said, right now this past weekend it made $96 million, which, again, I'm sitting back wondering to myself, how is it that the Avengers garnered $200 million and yet the Justice League can't get that same amount? I mean, It couldn't even get over 100 million. And that's the Justice League. Superman, Batman, Wonder Woman, Aquaman, Flash, Cyborg's in it. Like, it boggles my mind because these are iconic characters, particularly the Trinity. The Trinity could not, like, that's what makes this whole thing bizarre world to me, in that we have a situation where the Justice League could not trump the Avengers in the box office. That is just craziness to me. And maybe you could say a part of it is like how people have dealt with, you know, the characters and things like that, and dealt with the movies and stuff, and how polarizing they are, and people just sit there. Now, I'll say this. I do not want the DC cinematic universe to be anything like the Marvel cinematic universe in terms of how they flow. Be your own thing. The only thing I just ask is, hey, tell good stories. Just tell good and competent stories. When I look at Wonder Woman, it told a good and competent story. When I look at Man of Steel, it told a pretty good and competent story. When I look at Justice League, it basically told a good, competent story. Even though it was edited to hell, it still told a very straightforward story. I could nitpick things like Steppenwolf's resolve and why he was doing what he was doing, but it told a competent story. When I look at Suicide Squad, I don't feel it told a good narrative story because it was all over the place. When I look at Batman v Superman, that's another movie that was all over the place. And I think Batman v Superman Suicide in particular is what polarized. And on top of being polarized at Man of Steel, which was, again, unfair, it soured people on what the DC movies are doing. So, you know, I was talking to one woman in particular online, and she didn't like the fact that Justice League felt too MCU-ish and stuff, which I agree to a point, but I don't think it hurt the movie in terms of its identity, in the sense of what it was doing. Because I want to, you know what, back up. I think it hurt its identity to a point, but the movie still stood enough on its own to say, hey, we're DC, we're not Marvel. Whatever. But I say all that to say in all this and stuff. Like I said, go see Justice League. You won't regret it. Trust me. Fuck the review. This is the one time I can say fuck the critics, because I think that's what's missing nowadays in criticism is objectivity. Be objective with the movie. Don't bullshit people. Don't sit there. Like, to me, if you're going to say a movie is bad, tell me why. Break it down. Don't just say it's bad because I said so. Break it down to me. Like, example. Why do I think Batman v Superman is bad? I don't feel it's bad, but there's major issues with it that keep it from being just an okay movie, and that's because of how they overstuffed the movie with a lot of stuff for no reason. See, I just gave a reason. And when I mean by overstuffed, it's just whether it's the whole, like, subplot with Jimmy Olsen, which was stupid, dumb and stupid, or just anything for that matter. There are things in there that, like, just killed the flow of the movie. So I just gave a reason. When I look at the Justice League reviews, nobody gave a clear, concrete reason for why it was bad. You can say it's okay. And I think that's another problem with criticism, that people don't know how to get that middle ground of saying things are okay. You know, but whatever. So I say all to say, bring it back to here, the fandom. Now, my thing is this. I feel I have no problem with people wanting to criticize the MCU. Nothing's perfect. I don't think there's an issue with people criticizing the DCEU movies, because there are valid points. Both sides got to cut the shit on things. Now, on one hand, I saw somebody tweet out there that, man, these DC movies, they don't make, you know, they haven't made a lot of money like The Dark Knight. And I'm like, so you ignore the fact that Man of Steel made a lot of money, made more than The Dark Knight. You ignore the fact that Batman v Superman, despite polarizing that it is, made more money than The Dark Knight. Same with Suicide Squad. Same with Wonder Woman. So my thing is this. I like The Dark Knight, but we gotta cut the bullshit on how we're gonna argue our points here. And and the thing of it is, that goes on the other side in terms of the Marvel fanboys. Hey, look, we gotta stop fucking acting like the movies don't have issues. They have issues to a point, but it's nothing that's gonna kill the movie. So I might look at, say, Guardians of the Galaxy, for instance, right? I'm a fan of Ronan the Accuser. I wasn't a huge fan of how Ronan the Accuser was characterized. It could have been better. And I think my beef, and I said as much, that my beef with Ronan the Accuser in that movie is that he got killed. He didn't need to die. He really didn't. But they did that, and it's fine. You can say Drax. Drax the Destroyer in Guardians of the Galaxy movies is like a 180 from how he is in the comics. So take that as you will. But I think we as Marvel DC fandom, we gotta cut the shit in terms of how we can discuss these comic book movies, because ultimately, let's be real about this and stuff, everything hinges on another. Hey, Marvel's success allows DC to do those things and stuff, and like I said, one fails. Now look, Justice League flopping, well, I'm not gonna say flop, we'll see how everything goes in its box office, but Justice League doing what it did opening weekend, I don't think it inherently hurts the MCU movies and stuff. But the thing is, at the end of the day, we got to sit there and just stop this bickering. We got to stop the bullshit. We also got to stop, and I'm looking at critics too on this, we got to stop pushing snarky narratives like you want to see this DC cinematic universe fail, because no, competition breeds competition. I'm sorry, like, I don't want the MCU to go the way of 2K, where lack of competition made them fucking get complacent. I don't want the MCU to get complacent. And like I said, I joked as much on this. I felt as though Iron Fist and Inhumans' mediocrity and failure to a point is allowing the MCU to do what it's doing. So, I mean, hey, if there was anything bad that was going to happen, hey, Iron Fist and Inhumans had to be the ones. So, it is what it is and such. But, I don't know. It's just, this whole thing is just weird. And Justice League, it just, everybody's attitude towards DCU movies and stuff, it's like, look, I'm all for making these things be better, but it's like, yo, we got to cut the nonsense, cut the bullshit, and just, yes, we want these DC movies to be better, but we also got to cut the fucking snarky bullshit too and stop fucking over-exaggerating on shit. Because once you start doing that, it takes away any legit conversations that we can sit there and have. And it ends up putting WB in a position where they're going to be reactionary to changes of what they do for these movies. Because look, I'm looking at Justice League, it made $96 million. Hey, look, I said as much on the Justice League spoiler review, which is going to go up, that, hey, maybe Justice League could probably top out at $700 million. We'll see. That's going to be the thing. We will see how it rolls. But I just say, people, if whether you're a fan of Marvel and DC, do better. Just do better, because ultimately, at the end of the day, we all want to see these movies succeed. And look, like I said, competition is competition, but we got to sit there and do better in terms of how we're going to have these debates. You can't be sitting up there trying to paint narratives that don't fucking exist. You can't do that. But like I said, that's the nature of the internet. People are going to sit there and say what they say. They're going to do what they do. And yeah, like I said, I don't know what the future is holding and stuff. I do say this though. I say as much when it comes to bad movies and stuff. I think the audiences are starting to catch on that they're not going to throw their hard-earned money. Now, I do feel DC and WB and DC, they're at a point to where they're going to have to start currying goodwill to the people. But what I don't need DC and WB to do is basically panic. Just like right now, I don't need WB, I don't need Warner Brothers and DC to panic right now. Keep doing the movies that you're doing, okay? Just make good stories and do what you gotta do and stuff. And like I said, just hopefully there are things that they can change up and improve on the situation. Because like I said, right now, it feels like it's a war zone whenever you say Justice League, because it's like every day is somebody saying, oh, it wasn't that bad. And like I said, hopefully it's like Wonder Woman, where that word of mouth is like, maybe I need to check out Justice League. And yes, like I said again, go check out Justice League. You can't go wrong. So I don't know. It's just ultimately at the end of the day, it's all sorts of just craziness on both ends. And personally speaking, I feel as though people we gotta do better. We gotta do better as fan base. We gotta do better in terms of just getting our points across and stuff. Just can't be assholes about this. So yeah. So go see Justice League. Go watch it and stuff, and then go watch Coco and all that stuff, and watch Justice League again. can't go wrong. So, anyways, peace out. Ah, why is it not stopping? Sorry about that. Ah. Oh, come on.